Hi everybody. So I was gonna do a pretty long story time type deal, but I think I'm just gonna keep this as short as I can and get everything covered as best I can. There's probably another 10 to do. But yeah, the video that a lot of you are here from, where I'm wearing this shirt, I mentioned that I got kicked out for not wanting to do chores. The longer version of that is I was removed from living with my mom when I was 11, and I lived with my aunt and uncle, and they were really nice at first. Things were good, but to keep it really short, some bad things happened, and I didn't feel like I had real parents that I could talk to about what was going on or to let them know that I felt unsafe living with them because of people that they were allowing into their home. So that was part of it, but also to not get too into that. Um, Around the time I was 14, 15-ish, they started being really heavy with me about doing all the chores. Their real kid didn't have to do chores. He was really disrespectful to them too, and they didn't care at all. And I was as polite as could be and working my butt off in school to get good grades. I had like a 4.25 GPA. Like really putting in effort there, doing every extra credit thing, taking extra classes before school so that I could get extra credits. Like I was like killing myself to do a good job in school. So having to do everything around the house too, and then I was also working at the same time. Like I had a job I was going to, so it's like school, work, come home, do chores, wake up at 4 a.m., do homework, get to school at 6 a.m. for my 0 hour. Like it wasn't sustainable. Um, and it just wasn't a good environment in a lot of ways. So to handle that, I decided I would try and talk to my aunt. It's like I'm gonna just tell her how I feel, like tell her that I can't keep doing it like this. And so when I tried to do that, told her I'm like you have all these opinions. She thought I needed to lose weight and thought I needed to pluck my eyebrows and do all these things to look some certain kind of way because I wasn't pretty the way I was, and all these kind of terrible things. And it's like, okay, between that, between the chores, between like overworking me when I'm only 17, like I'm a kid, like I need a break. I gotta focus on college so I can get out of your house. Was kind of my mentality on it. And she said, if you don't like it, then leave. And it's like, okay, like I don't like it, so I guess I'm gonna leave then. Um, so I said, I would rather live in a snowbank than this hell, because I thought that sounded cool. And then I packed a bag and grabbed my guitar and I left. And that was like the last truly bad day of my life. Like there's been bad times, um, but gosh, nothing could have been worse than that. So I got an apartment. I wrote my superintendent a letter and got out of school early. I went to work full time, and I realized things just weren't changing. Like I was like things were better, but I was just working full time at Burger King, and I was like, this isn't the life I want. Um, I went to a concert to like take a break from everything. I was like, I need a day off. And so I go to leave to take the bus. I'm like leaving like hours early, and I happen to walk past somebody on a motorcycle who's like, "Hey, do you need a ride somewhere?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." Like really random, and I don't know why they offered. And if they hadn't, none of the rest of my life would have been the same. But because they did, I got to the concert early. The venue wasn't open yet, except for the radio station like giveaway for people who won tickets. So I went over there because that's where all the people were, and there's no other way in the building. And a group that was there had somebody cancel, so they got me a free pass to get inside. You're supposed to be 21, but no one knew that I wasn't, and so I just kind of like pretended I was, but didn't drink, so no one would question it. And so I hung out with a band as Power Man 5000, and the show was awesome. And I hung out with them beforehand, and there was like a cage fight beforehand that we all watched, and that was really cool to like sit with them for that. Um, but yeah, and then after the show, I was waiting outside for my ride. The buses were done for the day, and I had a friend who was supposed to come pick me up, and they ghosted me. They didn't answer. I tried to call them until my phone died, and I was stuck in downtown Grand Rapids without a ride home. I lived like 25 minutes away in a car. So I was like, this, I can't walk. There's no bus. Like, I'm stuck here. and the guitarist from Power Man, Dave Pino, at that time. He saw me outside crying and sitting there like holding my phone sobbing, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what are you doing?" I was like, "My ride failed." I told him everything, and so they offered me a ride home. We are driving down the freeway. They had to go the same way that I did because they were going to Chicago, and I was trying to go to Granville. And so we're driving, and we're all hanging out and talking and stuff while they're driving, and they missed my exit. And I was like, that was my exit. Okay, the next one's 8 minutes ahead, and you can turn around and come back. And they're like, we don't have time. Like, sorry, Charlie, you're going to Rockford, Illinois. And yeah, it's like, if I can be Charlie, I guess we're going wherever you want. So that's where the name Charlie came from. But yeah, so I go with them to this concert. It's the Wingding Festival, and there's all these bands. It's like Hellstorm, Taddy Porter, Parlor Mob, Age of Days, No, I think I said Hellstorm already. But yeah, Shinedown, Saving Abel, 10 Years, Age of Days, Hellstorm, Parlor Mob, and Coolio, and I think Saliva was there. Yeah, a whole bunch of bands are there. So it's this really awesome, like, huge festival, and there's a ton of people, and none of them know all of the band's faces. So everyone thinks that because I'm back behind the thing and I'm hanging out with the bands that I must be somebody. So I got like this really cool, like, inside kind of scoop feeling of what it's like to have people think you're famous. They didn't know who I was, but I, can I get a cigarette? And people would just chuck a pack of cigarettes at you. Like, it was weird. It was really cool though. Like, I felt like I was just the coolest kid in the world. And so I go through all that. Concert's awesome. Watched all the bands play and stuff. And then the night comes to an end. Everyone's packing up, and I don't have a way home. And so Power Man couldn't take me with them. They were driving to the airport and flying out. They had a rental van. So they ended up finding another band that could take me, because for tour buses, you can't, because of insurance policies, you're not supposed to take people with you. So they found another band that was in a van, and that was Taddy Porter. Joe, their guitarist, me and him had kind of been like friends all night. Like, he was like, "Oh, I'll hang out with you." Because I think he felt bad for me being like this little kid who's just like in this big people's world type of deal. But he was really cool. He, talked the band into letting me ride with them to Chicago. And then they played a show at Reggie's, or the bar right below Reggie's, I think it was. But we hung out there for a day, and then the next morning, Joe got me an Amtrak ticket back to Grand Rapids. And I got home and I was like, man, like, I don't want to go back to Burger King. I don't want to do that anymore. So I decided that I was done. And my lease was coming up, and I had a paycheck that I just got, and it was full paycheck. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to go. So I packed my backpack, and I took my guitar, and I left. A friend was going to Oklahoma. Like, they wanted to go, but they didn't have a reason to yet. And I was like, let's go. Like, let's do it. So we left for Oklahoma, split ways like right when we got there, because he kind of turned out to be a little bit crazy. And then I had a cousin down there, lived with her for a while, and then started kind of working in fast food again at some point. I was like, oh, this is like same stuff, different place. So I found a group of kids who were willing to travel with me to Alabama. We got 4 flat tires on the way. I don't know how you do it, but we got 4. And they brought me to Alabama. I ended up getting a job as like a stagehand for like conventions. But the guy who got me the job was like a real weirdo. So I was like, I don't feel comfortable staying here. I hit up a friend to ask for help. It's like, I'm stuck in Alabama. There's a creep here. Like, I just want to go somewhere else. Like, Seattle sounds really cool. Do you think you could help me? And so my friend, Mitch, ended up getting me just enough money, like to the dollar, to get me to Seattle. Like, he fundraised it from everybody and was like, we need to get Charlie to Seattle. So I took a Greyhound there. That's a whole story in itself. Like, the Greyhound ride was crazy. I was on the bus for like 4 days, because Alabama to Seattle is not a short trip. And Seattle was great. I did couch surfing there. I lived with, it was kind of like a house where other musicians would come and go, but it was really cool. I met someone there who like knew how to street perform, and she taught me about like where to go and what kind of locations to look for, and like, places you can go where the acoustics are going to be good for singing, and like what kind of stuff to look for in the area to make sure your sound's going to bounce right. But so I learned how to street perform there, and I was really in love with it. But Seattle's like, it's a big kid town. Like, it was really cool, but it was like a really dangerous place to be I'm still 17 or 18 at that time now. So it just didn't feel it didn't feel like a safe place for me to be. Like I didn't feel like I knew enough about the world to make it there without making bad choices. So I was like, okay, I need to get out of this place. Like this isn't the right place for me right now. So I caught a ride share that was going down to LA. And got to LA and I was about to get out of the car and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be here. 'Cause LA was really scary to me at that time. I ended up like moving back to LA later on in life and it was way better. But at that moment I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like, no, can we keep going? So he dropped me off in Victorville and there's nothing between Victorville and Vegas. Like that's pretty much your last stop. I think there's like one more town, but that's basically it. And so I started walking. I tried holding a sign. Nobody stopped. So I started walking through the desert. I was like, either I'll die in the desert or I'll end up on Oprah because I made it, you know. That was my game plan. And it was so windy. My guitar's like to the side of me and it's cold because it's night in the desert. And I'm like, there are going to be like animals coming out soon. Like I was nervous. And this FedEx driver pulls over up ahead and has his blinkers on. And I'm like, what's this about? Like, what do you want? And maybe he's pulling over to sleep. I don't know. So I was like, I'll just walk past him. And he yelled at me through the window to get in. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I hadn't really done any like real hitchhiking at that point. So that was kind of my first time hitchhiking, but like really hitchhiking, like getting in the car with somebody who I have not any communication with before. But yeah, so I get in the car or the truck and we start driving and he told me I'm really stupid for trying to walk through the desert at night and drove me all the way to Vegas. It was really cool. Apparently they're not allowed to pick up people on the road like that, but he said he could not have lived with himself if he let me die in the desert. So that was really sweet of him. But he dropped me off at the In-N-Out in Las Vegas by like the Tropicana. If you've been to Vegas and you like In-N-Out Burger, like you'd know that location. And I ended up meeting up with a friend, like just that I had found through MySpace, somebody I had like talked to once or twice before. And I had no intention of going to Vegas, so I don't know how I ended up being friends with them. But it was this kid named Adam, and he had like a house full of like people that would just kind of come and go, and like would host people from like other countries and stuff, and do like poker tournaments, things like that. So he ended up hosting me, and one of his roommates worked out on the Strip and was telling me about how I could perform there. So that's how I got started with busking in Vegas. I met my fiance out there. He was doing magic, and I was like, I like him. Like, I want that. So, like, it took like a year for me and him to both be single at the same time. But I met him out there, and then a month after we started dating was when I got arrested. And so that happened because I was playing on the bridge. I knew I was allowed to be there. I knew I was allowed to be playing. I made sure I was out of the way. Like, I knew the rules about how much space I was allowed to take up on the bridge and everything. And the cops walked by. There's 3 of them, sergeant and 2 officers. And the sergeant says, pack your ass up and leave. And it's like, what? Like, I'm allowed to be here. It's not too busy. Like, that's not how you talk to people. So I started packing up, and the 2 officers stayed behind to watch and make sure I packed up and left. And the sergeant kept walking. And I was talking to them. I'm like, that's, you guys don't need to swear. Like, that's really aggressive. I'm up here playing love songs. Like, I'll pack up and leave regardless. But I would do it happily if you had just been nice about it too. Like, you don't need to swear at people. That's not helpful. And they understood where I was coming from, and it was like a good little conversation, but the sergeant didn't like it. He came back, and long and short of it, he said, they don't owe you any respect or explanations. So I was trying to say, like, it's just basic human respect to, like, not swear at a stranger for no reason, especially if you're in uniform. Like, you shouldn't be just cussing at people for no reason. Like, there's nothing violent or aggressive going on. You're being the instigator at that point. In uniform, in front of kids, too. Like, there's kids in Vegas, whether they should be there or not. There are. And these cops are, like, just cussing on the bridge. So it didn't sit well with me. I thought that was really inappropriate of them. He said, she's not getting it, cuff her. And I said, hold on, like, why am I being arrested? And, like, grabbed the railing on the bridge behind me to, like, hold on. Like, you're not taking me. What did I do? Like, I just talked. Like, talking's not illegal. And they didn't like that. So they, like, manhandled me pretty bad. I got choked. I got my hair pulled. It was not fun. And just because I couldn't let go. My brain was like, don't let go. Like, they're stealing you now. Like, I was sober. I didn't drink or anything. That wasn't my vibe. But I just was, like, scared crapless because, like, these people dressed like cops are about to kidnap me off the Strip. And, like, it was scary. So I just could not get myself to let go. Like, and they got me to, but it was not fun. I get down to the car though, and we're waiting for the paddy wagon, and we start talking, and they're like, "Oh, like you're actually really nice. We feel bad for arresting you now." I'm like, "Well, you don't have to. Like, you don't have me in jail yet." But they're like, "No, like sergeant knows that we're arresting you. Like, there's paperwork that has to be done. Like, we have to arrest you now." And they were nice. Like, we talked it out and everything, and I was cool with them. The sergeant, he's just like a bad guy anyway. That's kind of like common knowledge out there. I found out later that he's just really aggressive with people and likes to kind of instigate things and likes to try to get people to react badly, so he has a reason to arrest you. That's like his whole mode. So that made a lot of sense to kind of find that out later on. But I get to jail. You guys all saw that in the other video of like how that went. And then after they sent me to booking, they immediately started the paperwork to do the OR, which is like a release where you just come back for court. So they started working on that paperwork immediately, and I was out by morning. I got all my stuff back. They didn't even take my tip money, so I made like $62 that night or something, and I got all of that back. They were really cool about all that. And then I showed up at court, and they dropped the charges, and my only charge was for resisting arrest. So they had nothing else to arrest me on except for me saying, "Why am I being arrested?" So that was cute. But yeah, I tried to talk to ACLU about it. They said that they're too busy, and it wasn't really a case because the charges were dropped. So I did try to look into that, but there was really no option there. So I just kept playing, and I remembered to save the statute in my phone that said why I was allowed to be there, and said the conditions that weren't allowed to be on the bridge, like you're not allowed to be up there performing if you are intoxicated or sleeping. And so if you are not intoxicated and not sleeping at that time period, you were allowed to be there. So I had that saved in my phone, so if any cops bugged me, I could show them and be like, "Okay, you're saying I can't be here, but what about this statute?" And I would, read it off to them and show them and be like, "Right here, it says, as long as I'm not sleeping, we're talking, so I'm not." And so then using that, I was able to not have any more trouble with the cops. They were really cool for a while. But about 2014, they started to arrest people and claim your instrument under, I think it's civil forfeiture, where they get to keep your stuff and say it's evidence of a crime. So once they started doing that, I kind of was like, I can't risk losing my guitar. And they were doing it frequently enough where ACLU did get involved for some people and kind of shut that down for them to be doing that. Like, to steal people's instruments and claim it's being used for a crime is ridiculous. So that did get shut down later, but we had already left at that point. And the magician that I was so head over heels with, me and him got engaged and got pregnant. We have a kid now. She's like 7 already, and that video is from like 11 years ago. And we live in rural Minnesota now, which is a really nice change of pace. It's quiet here. That is kind of weird. Like, if it's after dark, there's not something to do, it's different, but it's nice. Like, I'm happy to be here and raising my daughter here. And yeah, life is good. We both have day jobs now. We both kind of work in typical rural Minnesota type jobs. But we still find time for art when we can. I was playing shows a bit more before the pandemic started, and that kind of got weird during the pandemic. There was nowhere to play. And then after, I kind of like had lost connections during that time. So people who used to be able to help me get gigs at certain venues and stuff weren't really like in the same position as they had been. So now I just do YouTube. And I mean, if I find a show that's, worth playing and makes sense to do, that'd be great. But I'm really happy just performing on here too, because I get to reach people who I would never meet otherwise. And like that, of all things, that's probably my favorite, is I get to talk to all of you from all over the world. And like the comment section of my videos, like, you guys are so nice and say the sweetest stuff. And like, that's not how comment sections work normally, but like, I've just acquired this amazing group of people, you guys, who are just like the kindest, most considerate, like wonderful people. And it's fantastic. Like, playing on the strip was cool, and like, some nights were good money wise and some nights were bad money wise, but like, that was one of the best things about it, was that you'd always meet at least like one person a night who like really needed a song, and you could be there for them, and they, oh, I don't have any money. Then I was like, no, 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 like you need a song, like this one's on the house, buddy, like come here, I'm gonna sing for you, like to meet that person who really needs to hear some music and be able to give that to them and like just see their mood change or like help them through something, like that's what it's for. That's the point of music. Like that's why my albums are free. That's why I don't charge. Like you can go and download all of my work for free. I post these on here for free because I want to share it with you. Like if you need it and I can help you, like then that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's what music is for. So to be able to do that on here and reach all of you and just the wonderful stuff you guys say, like my heart is so warm. Like it, yeah. I love you guys. It's been really overwhelming. Like just all the love and like the support, like everyone like cheering me on and stuff. Like that's great. But like I want to also be cheering you guys on too. Like be brave. Like be fearless. I know like life can be crazy and bad days happen, but like you just push through and it gets better. Like I can say that like I have proof of it. Look, I'm here now. Like life can be bad sometimes, but like yeah, you just keep going and it gets better and the ride will be wild, and at the end of the day you end up living a life where you're like, "Dang, like I did stuff." So just do stuff, you know? Like that I don't know how to be eloquent right now. I'm kind of overwhelmed just thinking about how wonderful you guys are, but yeah, like it's a waste of time to be scared of the what ifs, and it's a waste of time to doubt yourself. So if you have something you want to do, if there's something artsy or creative or like a big change that you want to make, like I say, as long as it makes sense to do it, as long as it's worth it to you to do it, and like take a risk, like life is short. Take that walk in the desert. You never know what'll happen, So, anyway, I love you guys. Happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you stuck out till the end of the video, thank you for listening to me for 20 something minutes here now. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate every one of you so much. And I love the wonderful things you guys say, and I could not be more thankful or feel more blessed than I do right now. And people say, I hope you make it. Like, I already have. You guys are more than anything I ever dreamed. So I appreciate all the love and support. And yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I'll do another story time another time if I think of anything else that's like super cool to share. But yeah, have a great day. Happy Friday and have a good weekend.